Standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway, the rails look well used but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim as if they are running on emergency power. Dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. There's a small light further ahead and the space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe? Are we? Why are we in a subway tunnel? Dennis doesn't answer in reality while we are sinking. Whatever this place is, it was buried way underground. It seems impossible to me, making anything that's on the other side of this tunnel dangerous as far as I am concerned. And of course, we are going to go on. Human curiosity is going to see into that. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound, something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself. I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm right. He seems to be limping along much better than when he first stumbled into this place. Still in rough shape. Letting him appear, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. Yeah, I'll be fine. You reassure Dennis. We're too far in to go back, I say. Besides, if we get caught off trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'd slide by with it. You're in pain, and we've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods, looks reassured. Albeit weak and miserable. One look of it, we can go either left or right. Left is slightly lit, right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering around for hours. Suddenly, I jerk my head to the right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? I ask Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe it kind of sounded like footsteps. Wait a moment, but the sound is coming along again. So those are options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that we'll at least be able to see. So a hum of machinery is sound alive. To the right is just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Left. We decided to go into the lights. Seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. Continue. As we head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, hurrying us forward. Someone let the lights on for us, Dennis says, trying to be funny but creeping me out instead. I wonder if that's a good or bad thing to say. As we near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder. It doesn't sound like any machine I've heard before. As the light increases, I use it to take an inventory of Dennis and his condition. While the bleeding seems to have stopped, the mouth that is soaked into his pants or his shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep tunnel that has no business being here. Now fully stepping into the light, I notice that the sound of machinery is coming from an area on the left side that is protected by a guardrail. There's a bright blue light dancing the walls as they leak out from whatever is below. I also notice a posted sign that says danger, severe radiation poisoning threat. Oh. Look at the sign or something else? It's closer look. It's worth taking a look. I walk over to the guardrail and peer down below. It's where that strange hum is coming from. Further down in the dark, there's something that I can only assume is some sort of power generator. There are tanks, pipes, and valves, sure, but there's just something odd about it. Looks like it doesn't belong here. Hey, Dennis says, nudging me. You see that? He gestures to the main pipe coming out of the top. As my eyes trace along, it just disappears into a black floating mass. Rub my eyes and look again. The pipe goes up into a sphere, but within the sphere is the deepest darkness I've ever seen, and the area around it seems twisted, almost like a rip in space. I don't know much about whatever this thing is, Dennis says, but I don't like being near it. I agree. We take off down the tunnel again, eager to be away from the pipe and those lights. As we start walking, I notice another structure coming to view up ahead. Continue. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they're dim red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the locking site caused the power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder, so I think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the realities, I'm denied. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forest of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. Notice that Dennis seems confident though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder, which bolts him to the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. I'm worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, rather than wait for Dennis to act like a baby. It's okay, take it easy, you can do this. I'm not the one with the gash on my side, I think to myself, so I decided to cut him some slack. Damn, boss, I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest. Stubbornness, he says, with a weak laugh. Need a minute to rest. I answer as one sinking mutter. Master? No. If I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. Reach down, help him to his feet, and we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else. It's actually supposed to be here. Stay quiet. I'm not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place, and the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. Emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. Mind is racing with what sort of place this might be, as I always said it's meant to be a secret. It is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, leaving most everyone has been evacuated. While I'm pondering this, a wave of nausea comes over me out of nowhere, and I lurched forward, vomiting all over the floor. Whoa, is all Dennis mutters as he instinctively steps away. My insides feel like they're trying to escape, with my hand out, looking for a wall to lean on. You okay, Dennis? Asked, finally pulling himself together from the surprise. Yeah, pretty gasp out. After a minute, a feeling of subsides. Well, where in the hell did that come from? Was it that weird power generator? Finally collect myself and stand back up, praying I never have to feel like that again. Let's keep going, I say, wiping my nose with my sleeve. Step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. The hallway reminds me of a hospital room, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen ever since coming in the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls and the floor looks well clean, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and the small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm? I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks, and then he asks the question that has been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? A strange look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise and the unmistakable noise of a janitor creaking. Continue. Without warning, the salute chose to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow the power being back on is on. It's that I noticed the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm. But for what? Just a power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long, with two main doors. One door opens out to a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall on defeat and lets out a scary sounding chuckle. Something funny? Asks the dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just going to sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Conference room. A large table sits in the middle of the room, lined with a series of chairs. Looks like something straight out of the showroom. A well-used whiteboard hangs on the wall, and there are scattered papers on the desk. The papers. Most of the papers and printouts have codes and equations that all go way over my head. But there are also handwritten notes that don't make me feel any better about our situation. I read through them and see scrawled notes that say some things like acid experiment failed, overdose before transport, levels indicate cellular catabolism, more lead shielding in export suits. Measurements make no sense. Let Barksdale know about possible Higgs fluid fix. Whiteboard. A few things were scribbled on the whiteboard, mostly formulas and names. There are some things that I used to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death, embolism of aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery modes, spherical liquid, chemical state. TerraCore Company, possible plutonium supplier. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. Get out of the room to see him still seated on the floor. Don't get very far, as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Continue. It's hard to look beyond his rifle. The man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't even like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. I'm in the air. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap, maybe awake, and the maniac pulls the trigger. Well, who are you, and how did you get here? The man asked harshly. Before I can answer, he continued speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak by the security mics in the entrance hall. What? I asked, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asked. Did you do this? The man's eyes is both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He is scared. There's something else. We're just loggers. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, Bullshit! For some reason, I am pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, oh, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asked, dusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get into this situation? I think to myself, if only I had left that damn ringing noise alone, I wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy our information yet. I don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. I'm looking for a crew. We have other crew members that we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asked, seeming confused. This man thinks that we're nuts. There's no telling what he might do. I think that he looks a little crazy himself, makes the situation area. How did you get in here? The man asked. Went down the hall towards the subway. Came in that way. The doors weren't locked. An answer question comes a bit. I'm still very aware of the gun. I just leveled less than a foot away from my face. Tied to the stress of the moment, another bout of nausea starts to bubble up inside him. I'm dizzy. Maybe going so close to that radioactive machine in the tunnel wasn't such a good idea after all. It takes all I have to not puke and to stay focused on the muscle in front of me. Just put the gun down. Family asked the man to back down. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. With that, he uses the muzzle on the gun to put my hard hat onto the floor. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun, his eyes pleading for hope. Dennis again. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. While Dennis and the man seem a little confused on my action, I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say. We are here by mistake. We have no business here, the man says. But now that the power is on, I think it might be too late anyway. For what? I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me back with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and also makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. Who asked you on the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? No, what the hell are you talking about? No, I say. We're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Ugly story, the man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. Well, just stand still, he says. Soon later, someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I'll tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. And in a moment so fast that I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he was moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In that commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. Paralyzed and shocked from him, as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. I could use it as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Punch him. Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had to come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often, never really. Not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard and his grip on the gun loosens. Then he grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized, and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. Stand up and step back. Took it easy on the man. He's definitely out now, no threat. Or at least that's what I think. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. It seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches to the floor. He's done. Then instantly hands the rifle over to me and I take it with shaking hands. I can't believe you stopped between me and that gun. Then he says, I could have killed you. I was pretty sure you wouldn't, I said, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks man, that was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing, his eyes look at the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far and I want answers, since that Dennis does too. I walk over and pick up my hard hat off the floor after placing it on my head. Turn towards the man. We get answers from this guy. No answers? The man says. I don't have any. Next time I won't just hit you, I say, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. Just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the other end. A single elevator waits for us. Its steel sliding door is larger than a normal elevator. Continue. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. Until it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name? I ask. Marcus. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer. He gives us a low nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be? I ask. No, he says currently. Not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. Need a first aid kit for my friend here, I say. Or might I find one? Not on the second floor, he says, but we can't go down there. What's on level 2? Looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. Makes sense, but I wanted to have it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend, so take me to the first aid kit. You can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place random. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a freaking chaperone. Interrupt his monologue, we're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I can get for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place. Especially in the woods, or whatever the hell has happened. Might be linked to it all. I need to convince them to take us to the second floor. I'm not sure if it would be better to threaten them or ask for sympathy. Ask for him. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. Just trying to find out what's going on, to find our crew, to survive. Well, that this isn't a normal situation on here. Looks like all your protocols have been blown to hell. Would you help us out? Semi-sternly weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. Punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. With a few seconds of anger glances of friendly sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper of the interior. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel by the door with the options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like the elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we got a first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here, I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power comes back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Aren't you overread? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. We can't. Marcus says to deflect this, Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls into the floor. Struggle with the rifle to blow out of him. See that much in his face. Slowly we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill the space. What can you do? Marcus bristles at the question, but I think it's fair. I mean, he's not allowed to unlock the door, so you can get medical supplies. I'll keep a guy around who can't even grab a band-aid without permission. Not me? I think we'd get down here. Marcus answers me. These people think they're so brilliant. Some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. Top coder in my class at MIT, I'm stuck living underground, helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. How big is this place? It's a government facility, the highest secrecy, Marcus says, a research facility. It goes 4 stories from ground, and quite frankly, it scares the piss out of me that you two find here so easily. Why is that, I ask? This is a black ops graveyard place, and the CIA doesn't know this place exists. What goes on here? Marcus shakes his head. May as well shoot me. Can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the side of it. What does that mean? I asked, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know anything enough about it. What knocked the lights out? Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage, and then what? Dennis asked weakly. And things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? I asked. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened, and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw, what I asked, feeling a sharp fear warm its way into my guts. All that I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. Like whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with the rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place. Or excuse me, a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case you know. Door Sunday chair. She was just about to answer that when it comes to a stop and the door slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word, makes his exit and heads directly for a glass tin room that is filled with pretty monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I follow up behind him, trying to keep up, lest you do one very alarming question. through my head. The hell can the camera facility keep slow to constant university vaults and every single room? I'm distracted too. Curiosity. 61% players ignore the warning sign and looked at the glowing reactor. Selflessness. 0% players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. 65% players were using Marcus after he surrendered. Chapter 3.